Great day, kings and queens. Yeah, welcome to another conversation with Drew, where this is a terrific Tuesday. It's such an honor to be able to come to you guys and share this gift with you. It's truly a pleasure, to be able to share the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that I've gained through my experiences and also through the experiences of others, man, continually studying to become the best version of myself in hopes that what I share with you, kings and queens, this morning will cause you to become the best version of yourself. Again, this is a terrific Tuesday. It's so amazing to be alive, so amazing to be in purpose. It's so amazing to be expressing the gift that's been placed inside. I titled this one, Only God Can Judge. And the reason why, I titled this one, Only God Can Judge, because, man, it's so imperative that we understand what we do when we call ourselves judging people, when we call ourselves, basically condemning people. And that's all that our judgment is. Judgment in the kingdom means to grant rights. What's going on, Queen? That's what judgment means. The word judge in the kingdom means, to grant rights. That's why we call the Most High the judge, because he is literally granting us the rights. That's just like if you were to go to a courtroom, right? When you're going to a courtroom, you're not going into a courtroom to be condemned. You're going into a courtroom to be given your rights. If you weren't speeding and you know the law, and you go in there with law, not emotions, you go in there with law, you are granted your rights to walk out freely without getting a ticket. Why? Because you were granted your rights by the judge. That's what judgment means. Judgment is not what we do as individuals, is what we do as humans, as condemning people, basically saying you're unfit for use, basically saying that I wouldn't do what you are doing, and that's the problem with a lot of us today, kings and queens, is that we don't recognize that what we're doing, right? By judging individuals, by judging people, not recognizing that when we judge somebody, it's simply based off of our pride. We look at somebody's life, right? And we'll say to these people that I wouldn't do what that person did. The problem with that is that you're not in their shoes. The problem with that is that you don't understand their background. The problem with that is that you're not facing the demons that they're facing. See, because if somebody was to look at your life, and somebody was to look at your past, if somebody was to look at your mistakes and your flaws, the problem with that is they'll say the same exact thing. I wouldn't do what you did. I wouldn't have made the decisions that you made. But see, the reality of it is this, kings and queens, nobody made us. Meaning that you didn't make me and I did not make you. I can't tell you and I can't determine what you should or shouldn't do. I can't condemn you and say because you made those mistakes in your past that we can't be friends, or that we can't build together, or that we can't ultimately be the ones that marry one another. See, the problem is this, kings and queens, is that when you are doing that, you are using pride. Pride says that I wouldn't do that. Well, if you've never been in their shoes, if you don't have the same past that they have, if you didn't grow up in the conditions and environment that they did, how dare you say that you wouldn't do that, because you don't know. That's why the Most High is the ultimate judge, because he is the one that grants the right of the individual, because he is the one that gave the purpose to that individual. Everybody has a purpose on this earth. Everybody has a unique destiny on this earth. So you can't judge a person to say, well, that person, if I was that person, I wouldn't have did that. You don't know that, simply because you don't know that person's destiny. You don't know the path that person has to take in order to get to their destiny. You don't know the test that person has to go through in order to bring the greatness out of that individual. How dare you judge them? How dare you say that they made the wrong decisions? How dare you never walked a mile in their shoes? That's what judgment is. We are call ourselves judges, and we don't understand that what we're doing is we're condemning a person. We're saying because you made that mistake that you're unfit for use. But the reality of it is that you didn't create that person. The Most High did. The Father gave that person that purpose, and he also gave them that path, and he also gave them circumstances and situation, and he also gave them the environment that they grew up in, and he also gave them the surrounding circumstances, and he also gave them the mind that they have, and he also gave them the interwiring that causes them to make certain decisions. So you can't judge that person. You can't grant that person their rights. So you have no room to say what you would or you wouldn't do. because you haven't even met all of your life yet to know that what you're going to do, the mistakes that you're going to make, the decisions that you're going to make in life. So you have no room. See, the thing is, what we're supposed to do is we're supposed to understand what that king and queen has gone through and be able to embrace that person and say, man, if you've gone through that and you're still alive, if you made those decisions and you're still pushing forward, then we ought to salute that person. We ought to love that person. We ought to pat that person on the back to say, like, man, you went through that and you're still alive. You went through that and you're still pressing forward. Congratulations. Because that person's purpose is not done. That person has not yet reached their destiny yet, kings and queens. That's what you're not understanding. If y'all could hit that share button at the bottom. Everybody need to get this work this morning on this judgment, because we don't understand, kings and queens, that judgment is to grant rights. Again, if you walk into a courtroom, you're not walking into a courtroom to be condemned. In a kingdom, a judge grants rights. They literally grant the rights of the individual according to the Constitution. That's what you're missing when we're looking at a person's past and we're saying, because of your past, I can't rock with you. Because of your past, you can't add no value to me. Because of your past, we can't walk together. Because of your past. See, the problem is that you're not understanding that we're supposed to operate in love. I've impacted more people in this last 2 years that have been outside of the African American race than I ever have in my entire life. Why? Because what I understand and I recognize is that my purpose in life is to do this, right? So regardless of my past, regardless of the decisions I made, regardless of the wrong decisions I made, I've been used because of my purpose, because of my divine purpose in this earth, to impact people outside of my own race more than I ever have in life. Because I understand that my past is what shaped me into the king that I am today. How dare I condemn my own past? How dare I allow somebody else to condemn me because of my past? My past is what made me. Your past is what made you. Their past is what's making them. Understand that they have to go through this, kings and queens. Listen, without a start, there is no finish. Let me say that again. Without a start, there is no finish. So their start is what's taking them to the finish point in life. So they have to go through what they've gone through. They have to experience the experiences that they've gone through. They've had to go through those hardships to take them to where they're going. You couldn't go through it. That's why it's not part of your purpose. But don't look at them and condemn them because of their mistakes. Embrace them with love. He said, how can you, who has a beam in your own eye, try to get the mote out of your brother's eye? Get the beam out of your own eye first before you try to get the speck out of their eye. Why? Because what the law is saying is that, man, you got issues too. You've made mistakes too, kings and queens. You got a shaky past too. But the reality of it is that if I was to look at your past, there would be some decisions that I wouldn't have made. But I'm not you. Nor am I fulfilling your purpose and your destiny. I can't. I have my own individual purpose and destiny. You have your own individual purpose and destiny. And collectively together, we can rock it out together. But again, the problem is that we find ourselves condemning people because of our pride. Because we'll look at somebody's life and say that I wouldn't have made those same decisions. We'll look at somebody else's life and say that, man, I wouldn't have did that. But the reality of it is that you're not wired like that person. The reality of it is that we have different destinies. The reality of that is that my purpose is different from yours. But when I look at you, kings and queens, and I look at you through the eyes of love, I see that the mistakes that you made in your past was part of your destiny. Therefore, that's why I can embrace you, and it doesn't matter what religious belief you have. That's why I can embrace you, and it doesn't matter what ethnicity you come from. That's why I can embrace you, and it doesn't matter what economical, social class that you come from. Because I understand, kings and queens, that your life was designed for a purpose, and through that purpose, your past was necessary. All of the bad decisions you made, all of the people that you slept with, all of the times that you used drugs, all of the time you messed up your credit and messed up your finances, all of the times that you lost your kids or almost lost your kids, all of the times that you might have gone through a divorce or you broke somebody's heart, all of the times that you decided to eat and became obese. It does not matter, kings and queens. Your past is part of your purpose. I'm going to say that again. Your past is part of your purpose. How can I condemn you? That's why the Most High, God, is the only one who can judge us, because he finished our story already. So he knows exactly where we're going in life. He knows exactly what we need in order to get there. When you read anybody's story, when you read the stories of the law book, when you read the stories of the Bible, I guarantee you will see people with shaky past. And they became great people. Paul was a serial killer. He put hit out on believers, but he wrote 3/4 of the New Testament. You know what I mean? Moses ended up killing somebody, you know what I mean, out of passion to help somebody. He still ended up killing somebody and went on the run for 40 years. You know what I mean? But still ended up being used to free the people. I'm telling you right now, kings and queens, your past is part of your purpose, just like their past is part of their purpose. How dare you condemn them? How dare you judge them? How dare you say, because of your past and decisions that I may not have made, then I can't rock with you, or I can't build with you, or man, that can be the person that you ultimately marry, but you're looking at their appearance. Well, they grew up in a certain place. They grew up in a certain environment that caused them to dress like that. Be powerful enough, be a king enough or a queen enough to help that person in their appearance. Be a king enough or a queen enough to help that person with their thought process. Be king and queen enough to help that person with their parenting. Be king or queen enough to help that person with their appearance in as far as their weight, and help them get in shape. That's what a king would do, and that's what a queen would do. Only a peasant would judge another person and condemn another person to say that you're unfit for use. Who are you? That's the real question. Who are you? The only reason why God can judge is because he is granting us our rights according to how we are doing and how we are living and the decisions that we're making in life, not condemning us though. He doesn't condemn us and say that we're unfit for use, because he already know. Forget a second chance. Forget a third chance. He said, if your brother wrongs you, he said, if your brother sins against you, he said, forgive that man 7 times 70. You do the math. That's 490 times. If we are to forgive each other 490 times, how many times is your Father going to forgive you? So what you have to understand, kings and queens, is that you walking around condemning people and judging people is absolutely wrong. Because somebody can easily look at your life and say that they would not made the decisions that they made. They say, man, I wouldn't have slept with that man that you slept with, that you had a baby with. How could you? I wouldn't have slept with that woman that you slept with and that you end up marrying. How could you? I wouldn't eat all that food the way that you eat all that food. I've been in shape all my life. How could you? Because you do not know their past, nor do you know their destiny. So how dare you look at somebody else's life and say that you wouldn't do something? If you were in their shoes and you were created the way that they were created, then you would have made that same decision, because it's ultimately taking you to their destiny. So that's why we have to be able to look through the eyes of love. Through the eyes of love, and truly see what it is that we're created to do. I go to a gym every single day, kings and queens, every single day, in a place that still has racism in it, right? This is what's so powerful about prejudgment. I literally go to a place every single day, to this gym, and it has racism in this environment that I'm in. I can still feel it. I can see it. When I walk in a certain establishment, in certain areas, in certain places, I can still feel it, right? But I've been used to help so many people, again, outside of my own race. I've been used to help so many people. I'm talking about people going through divorce. I'm talking about people struggling with depression. I'm talking about people struggling with committing suicide. I'm talking about people struggling with their purity of their sexuality. I'm talking about people who are struggling with physical ailments. I've been blessed to help these people, and they're all white people. Let me just put that out there so we can go ahead and put that disclaimer. They're all white people. And I've been used to speak life into these people's lives. And we grew up in 2 different environments. We grew up under 2 different circumstances. We grew up and we're not the same race. We grew up and some of us don't even have the same belief system. We grew up in 2 totally different circumstances, situations, places, and environments. But the reality of it is that what I have inside of me, the gift that's been placed inside of me, has been used to bless these people. You don't think that these people probably prejudged me when they saw me? I'm a big black African-American male in a society that perpetuates racism. You don't think that they thought, but when they see me now, walking in my gift, walking in my purpose, fulfilling the destiny that I'm here to do, they can't help but to be moved by it. They can't help but to be moved by it. Because what I understand is that even though they may prejudge me, I have the ability to operate and function like my Father here in this earth realm. So therefore, that I can supersede any prejudgment. I can supersede any racism. I can supersede any hatred. Why? Because I understand that what measure I use, it shall be measured back to me. So if I don't judge them and condemn them based off of my preconceived notions, then I can supersede whatever they're judging, whatever they're prejudging, whatever their prejudice is. I have the authority to do so, and so do you. See, I took the beam out of my eye because I understood that I needed to help to get the speck out of my brother's eye. I took the beam out of my own eye, so now I can clearly see that I have the ability to influence and help people even if they are prejudging me. Even if they do have preconceived notions. That's why I hit them with the smile on them. You understand me? Hit them with the smile. It's a woman who I recently met. Two older Caucasian women. One of them is battling MS, right? And we were in a gym, and we were talking, and they were moved by the conversation that we were having. And so it's established this little passing friendship. And so when I see them, I'm going into the gym and they're coming out. It moved them so much that every time they see me, the woman said yesterday, she said, "Man, I just love your smile." She said, "You have a smile that radiates." She said, "You have a smile that seems to help everybody." Again, we grew up in two different generations. This woman and her mother is in their 60s and probably 80s. Two different generations. I'm an African-American male. They're European Americans. Two different races. I don't know if they believe in Jesus Christ like I do. But none of it matters when you understand that you have the authority and the power to supersede prejudgment. Because if you are not judging and condemning somebody, it doesn't matter what they're doing. If you have the ability to walk in your purpose and supersede what they're doing. That's what I'm understanding, kings and queens, and I need you to understand. Stop judging people. Stop condemning people. Stop looking down on people. Stop using pride to literally destroy the potential of a friendship, the potential of a relationship, the potential of two people walking together as purpose partners, because you would not have made the decision that they made if you were in their shoes. And that's an absolute lie, because you're not in their shoes. You've never walked a mile in their shoes. You do not understand their past to understand their purpose. So what I'm saying to you, kings and queens, is that today, when you see somebody and you see that they may not dress like you dress, or they may not be shaped the way that you're shaped, or their nose may not be as round or as slim as yours, or their hair may not be as long or as straight as yours, when you see that individual, look at that person in love and understand that you can add value to their life just like they can add value to yours. Just like they can add value to yours. Because their past might be the very thing that helps you to get by in your future. Let me say that one more time. The things that they experienced in their past might be the very key principles that you need to get through in your future. So how dare you? How dare you look at their life and say that you wouldn't have made that decision? You have no idea what you would have made under the circumstances that they was placed under the pressure that they was placed under the position that they were placed in. You have no idea what you would have made. No idea. But I understand now that where you are in life, it was necessary. It's necessary for the fulfillment of your purpose. Therefore, I cannot condemn you, because it's not called judging. Again, a judge grants rights. When you walk into a courtroom and you are judged, you are granted your rights. If you murder somebody, the right is that you are going to jail. If you did not murder that person, the right is that you're going to be released and given your rights to be free. That's what judgment means. That's what the king does. When he judges, he grants right. What we're doing is we're condemning people through pride, through arrogance, because we look at them and say, I wouldn't have done that if I was in your shoes. And you do not know that, because you are not that individual. Your purpose is not their purpose in life. Your destiny is not their destiny in life. So this morning, kings and queens, I encourage you, I admonish you to begin to look at people through the eyes of love and begin to see a person where they are and begin to embrace their past. Their past is what shaped where they are today. If you like a person, this is what's so crazy, right? If you are attracted to an individual because what's inside of them and where they are currently in life, you have to understand that their past is what shaped them, good, bad, or indifferent. That's what's so crazy, right? How can you dare? People want to take you as you are right now, but not want to take your past with you. It's crazy. The past is what shaped you. The past is what shaped that individual. Where you are today is because of your past, not your future. You ain't been there yet. You haven't experienced it yet. The good, the bad, and the indifferent is what shaped the Andrew Clayborn you guys are looking at and listening to right now. The good, the bad, and the indifferent. Not just the studying, not just the amazing times that I have with the Father, not just all the times that I prayed and fasted and I studied. No, the bad times when I was evicted out of my home, the bad times when I was struggling with obesity, the bad times when I was facing a mandatory minimum of 10 years, a maximum of 20 to life, the bad times when I was playing with the loaded gun that I did not know and it went off and it almost blew my face off, the bad times when I was thinking about committing suicide because I was tired of childhood obesity and tired of being teased. The bad stuff is what made me this man I am today. How dare you not accept it? How dare you not embrace it? How dare you not love that part of me? Because that part of me is what fuels my fire to become the greatest version of myself. The bad times as well. The times where I was up alone crying my eyes out because of my past. Those things I accepted, I embraced, and I cultivated them just like everybody else. So you can't just accept me and where I am today and love this person without loving my past, because my past is what's taking me to my future, period. Just like their past is what's taking them to their future. You cannot judge a person and say because they had a shaky past that because you've never done those things that you wouldn't. You do not know. You do not know. You don't know the sacrifices that Muhammad Ali had to make. You don't know the sacrifices that Mahatma Gandhi had to make. You don't know the sacrifices that Nelson Mandela had to make. You don't know the sacrifices that Bill Gates and Steve Jobs had to make. You don't know, but that was necessary in their past in order to do what they done that was great. The problem is that you're settling to be mediocre, and you don't understand. With great responsibility comes great trials. The greatest people in life experience some great trials. The greatest people in life have experienced some great tribulations. They experience some great loss. So what I'm saying to you today, kings and queens, is learn to look at people through the eyes of love and understand that everybody has a destiny. Everybody has a purpose in life. And through that destiny and through that purpose, that which is their finish, which is their end, there had to be a start and there had to be a beginning. And without their beginning, which is their past, without their start, which is their past, they would never finish the race. We all have gone through something. We all have experienced something. And if you condemn a person because of the mistakes that they made in the past and you say that you would not have made them or you have not made them, you are the issue and you are the problem. Period, point blank. I come from the ghetto. I come from the hood. I come from gangbangers. I come from dope dealers. I come from prostitution areas. I come from those areas. I can take you to my hood right now. And it's a freaking underworld. Same cats that I grew up with that was the dope boys are the junkies now. I come from that same area. But the reality of it is that when you meet me this day, you'll never know that until I shared with you. I was facing a mandatory minimum of 10 years, a maximum of 20 to life in a federal prison. But you would never know that unless I shared that with you. But you love this Andrew Clayborn who I am today, don't you? Well, embrace me and embrace my past. Because without my past, I wouldn't be this great. I'm telling you, kings and queens, stop looking at people and condemning people. Because you have no idea why they had to go through that. You have no idea why they had to struggle through that. They had to struggle through it because it's taking them to their destiny. You have no ability and no authority to grant people their rights. That's what judgment is. All you do when you call yourself judging somebody is condemning somebody. And you saying they're unfit for use. But what you do not understand is the law says that whatever measure you use, it shall be measured back unto you. So if your love of your life, if the investor that's supposed to come and invest in your life, if they look at you and you don't look the part that they thought that you should look, if you don't represent what they immediately thought you should represent in the first meeting, they're passing over you because you're doing the same exact thing to everybody else. I've learned to look at through the eyes of love. I don't know why you went through what you went through, but all I know is that it's part of your purpose, it's part of your destiny. And that's why I will continue to love you exactly where you are and love where you come from, because I understand that it's part of your destiny and it's part of your purpose. Thank you, kings and queens, for tuning in. This is another conversation with Drew. But remember, it's not a look, it's a lifestyle, because we do this every day, not to impress people, but to leave an impression on the earth. I want to congratulate everybody and thank everybody who's donated to the movement. If you are feeling in your heart to donate, hit me up, in the messenger inbox, whatever you call it, man, so I can give you instructions. If not, man, just hit the share button at the bottom, man, and share this bad boy, man, so this message can go out, so it can spread. We need more truth in this earth. While everybody is trying to live off of life of lies, we need more truth. I love you, kings and queens. Have a terrific Tuesday, and remember, look through the eyes of love instead of the eyes of condemnation. Peace.